Hey everybody, it is Billy at Be Tough, man. Got a call from Steven at Gailey's Marine in Bakersfield, California. Said he had a whole quiver full of 2021 boards. We're gonna look at them. I can't wait to see him. He's got a lot of stuff here. Let's get into it.
Would you give me all you got to give me? Would you break my fall? Cause you got me tripping, laces, going places, seeing faces, doing things I never do at all. To let you to break my fall. Be on me just one night, be on me, it's alright. Be on me just for now, be on me anyhow. Be on me just one night, be on me, it's alright. Be on me just for now, be on me anyhow.
Steven, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Billy? How you doing?
Good, man. I'm excited. I can't wait, man. I looked over here and you had all these boards lined up. I can't wait, man. This is the 2021 lineup, right?
Yeah, and you're just in time. These are about to get shipped out to somebody, so
They are.
perfect timing.
All right, I
Yeah.
love it, man. Now we've done some videos with you before. I did think we did a lot on the 2020 stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I look here, man, and they've changed some stuff, right? There's a lot of new designs and a lot of new
It's
stuff.
always new. It's
It's
always
always
new. You can't keep up. You just got to keep spending money.
I love it, man. All right, so let's get into it. I can't wait to look at everything. I'll let you kind of lead the show here, man. What do you got?
Yeah, for sure. Couple new things, actually. Since I got some Ronix boards out now, we'll just start with those. M50 is a new shape from them. So we got a lot going on here.
Wow.
Really increasing the surface area, especially up in the front of the board. The idea is to help bigger riders have a blast on a smaller board where they can be a little more aggressive. So
Yeah.
big, wide surface area to it. We got a really sharp skim style edge through the
really
side
good,
here,
man.
So
it's kind of like a hybrid, right, between a
Yeah.
surfboard and a skim, man.
Absolutely, and we're seeing more and more of that design. This thing is designed to really have a lot of drive when you dig that edge into your wave. And then a little bit of kind of channeling on the back here to give it almost that thruster kind of cut, you know, doing the big bottom turns and things like that.
Yeah.
This is, wax mat, sorry.
Yeah.
Wax mat traction pad, but they've put a little bit of foam underneath it.
Okay.
So you'll notice on some of the boards they have just a little bit of cushion there, and some of them the wax mat is straight to the board to give the rider as much feel as possible.
Right.
We're seeing more and more people want to get away from that EVA foam where they feel like, yeah, it's kind of cushiony, it could be slippery sometimes. So something a little bit different, but great looking board. Has that natural surf look to it. We have finesse system on the fins, so the fins pop in and out real easy, which is a nice feature, and also floating fins. So,
yeah, that's cool. It's a
if
big
you're
thing.
pulling a fin out and trying to hand it in the boat and drop it, it doesn't go to the bottom.
Yeah, and I lost one. I lost a carbon one, dude. That's hard to find.
It's happened.
Yeah.
And what's really cool is if you have somebody that tries the board with two fins on the outside and two squirrely, you just toss the fin out to them and, you know, they could pop it in right in the water. So just making life a little bit easier.
Yeah, I love these Ronix. I rode one. It was a bat. Is a bat tail? Is that what they're calling it? Right. Do you have that one here? Or is
Yeah,
that
I
one?
do have a bat tail, and a bat tail is actually very similar to this.
Yeah,
that
look
big,
closer.
wide profile with that more of a skim style edge on it.
Yeah.
The bat tail is got a little more thickness to it.
Okay.
So a little more buoyancy. You're going to push it higher up on the water.
Okay.
I imagine, I haven't been on this one yet, but I imagine that this thing is just going to be stuck to the surface and have a lot of drive and power in it.
A lot of edge to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so these two that I have out here, got a guy that picked these out the other day and I
Man.
just forgot to pull them. This one's been really cool.
Super cool looking board, man. Talk
Yeah.
about a retro looking board.
Blunt nose skimmer.
Really?
So this, talking hybrids, this is a skim board with a really wide nose on it. So you can almost get that kind of a longboard feel where you have so much surface area that you can get up on the front and kind of toes on the nose a little bit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you got this sharp skim edge and then the pintail back in, which is a single fin.
man.
So,
Man, that is so slick.
and you know what? This has been a killer board. My kids are about 100 pounds.
Yeah.
And I've been, you know, throwing them on this because of the thinness of the board. It doesn't have so much buoyancy that they can't get it underneath them.
Yeah.
And then having that sharper edge, it just allows them to just put a little bit of weight on it and it goes. They don't have to pump so much. So even though it is an adult board, I've got guys 200 pounds riding this thing, and I've got kids down to 100 or maybe even less than that, you know, that are ripping this board and having a blast.
Yeah. You know, the thing is, it has just a very subtle like edge to it. Like, you know what I mean? Channel to it. Just a real subtle.
Just a little bit of
just
a
a little bit, dude. As I was looking at that, that's pretty slick, man.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that they're doing these days, you know, like we don't really notice it a lot of times. And people come in like, oh man, look at this board. It's got the sickest graphic. It's got a Volcom collaboration. It's called the Sea Captain. It's awesome, you know, but we're not looking at the very minute details. And these guys, I mean, they spend hours designing this stuff.
Yeah.
So
really cool, man.
All for our fun. So.
Yeah, and this is gonna be nice too, because these are really forgiving, like on the bottom turns, right? They don't get into the water as hard. I mean, sometimes you know what I mean. They keep it on the surface a little bit.
Having a big surface area on the front really helps, because as you come into the turn, it's not going to dive so much, and if it starts to, you got a lot of buoyancy there to hopefully help push it back up out of the water.
Very cool, man.
Yeah,
Good,
lots of fun.
Cool board.
Collaboration with Volcom. Ronix and Volcom got together on this.
Really?
And, they actually had the some of the Volcom surf team out up behind the boat just ripping this thing up. But this is kind of a board that if you only had one board on the boat, this would be the board.
Okay.
You know, this thing can really rip it. It's actually designed to be very similar to the Parks Carbon Thruster that Ronix had once upon a time. And people love that board. They constantly ask, hey, when are they going to do something similar? Well, this is it.
That's a crazy design, dude.
Yeah.
Like as far as the
Yeah,
design,
you can
man.
see the channels on the outside here. So that's just going to help you give a lot of drive. You get that edge set in a bottom turn, you're going to be able to whip it fast. And I don't know.
Show them that top deck too. I'm gonna show them this because this is slick, dude, man. That is nice, man. That's some super grip right there.
Yeah, a lot of grip, a lot of padding through it. It's a little bit of an arch through here in the middle for your foot, and then curved on both ends, so hopefully your toes or your heels aren't sliding off. Same on the back foot there, nice big bump right in the middle here, and then a solid stomp pad on the back so you're not sliding off the end.
I know some people like these and some people don't. I tend to like them because they help you locate your foot a little bit easier, you know what I mean? Especially when you're shoving things around, you know. I kind of like that center bar.
Yeah, you know, I've ridden a lot of boards and they're all fun, so
yeah,
I have a hard time finding one that I don't like.
Right, yeah. Killer board.
So killer new board, the Sea Captain from the guys at Ronix. I'll show you that bat tail you were asking about.
They have two different sides. Here's another one, right? So this is So this is kind of the big boy stuff.
A little bit larger board for larger riders or people with a small wave.
I want to talk about too. You know,
actually, I'm going to leave this one out. This one's going home, but the guy that's getting this, he's got a guy 230 in his group. He's getting new G23. We got no problem with the big guy riding a small board.
Right. You know, I was just about to bring that up. You know, when it comes to boards on waves, in my opinion, like the board I run, that my favorite board is a board that they say is 175. I weigh 225. But the thing is like, I think you're always better to err towards the smaller size on boards because you have a limited wave size. You know what I mean? It's not like you're in the ocean where there's this massive wave, you know what I mean? You have a small wave, so the smaller you can keep your board, the more you're going to be able to maneuver around.
Sure. Yeah, you know, and I found actually this one, for example, the HYPERLITE automatic. We got two sizes here, and I just immediately thought, you know, the smaller size, I think this is like a 4.7. That might be a little bit small. And so I took the big one out and just really struggled to stay in the wave and really struggled to find some drive in that board. And just kind of like, well, I don't think the small one's going to be any better for me, but I jumped on the small one and what a blast. Yeah. You know,
and the bigger boards feel tighter, like in my opinion. You know what I mean? They just, I don't know, because you're trying to maneuver around a bigger piece of
a lot of it is, I mean, with wake surfing, we're very much on the front foot, you know, trying to create that drive. And when you have a board that's larger and you have to spread your stance out, you're shifting your body weight differently. And I think that's the problem a lot of times is you get on a bigger board, it's like, oh, I got to get on the nose, but now the fins are coming up out of the water. They just don't respond the way that you would expect it to, unless you're riding something that's a longboard style cruiser.
Yeah, and if you're trying to do like 360s and things like that or slide around a little bit, it is easier, you know, like you said, you have something bigger, it's, you know, harder to get things out of the water.
More board to maneuver, more drag as you're trying to spin against the surface. So finding the right size board can be tough sometimes, especially for bigger guys that want to be aggressive. You know, obviously the more weight, we need more surface area, but I've had a lot of big guys riding small boards and they can do it. They just got to work. Yeah,
so very cool, man.
Another one, not anything new in the line. The HYPERLITE Buzz used to be the Byerly Buzz. Byerly's kind of moved on to other things, and so HYPERLITE's just running everything in the HYPERLITE brand and logos now. So
yeah,
HYPERLITE Buzz, this thing has been killer. A lot of traction, as you can see. This is kind of a combo, again, another hybrid style of ride. So with a small center fin on the back, it can have very much of a skim style feel.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we got these big rounded edges here,
yeah,
which is going to be more of that natural surf style of turn. So if you want to run the big fins on the outside, definitely one of those boards that you can have the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So, and these days, you know, we see every boat has a quiver of boards on it. You know, I mean, usually people start with the big board and a small board for the big riders and the small riders. And then they, well, I want something skim style. The ones I have are surf. So before you know it, you end up with 4, 5, 6 boards. And it's kind of nice to have these hybrids that cross over a little bit, where you can say, well, this is similar to something I like already, but a little bit different. Let's give it a shot.
Right. Yeah. I want to show them this one too. Can you bring this one out real quick? Because,
Sure.
you know, a lot of people will ask, I've had a lot of people ask, like, hey, what would you recommend? You know, we've just gotten a boat. Now, now this used to be the Byerly thruster, right? Is that right? It used to be, right, back in the day. And they've changed the design. It's cool design, a little retro looking.
Yeah,
But
same shape board, same materials.
Yeah.
The biggest thing with something like this is built like a wakeboard is built.
yeah.
Different types of foams, different materials going in it. So it's very dense.
Yeah, and it's durable.
Yeah.
So, like, here's the thing. If you're throwing boards, a lot of people that, you know, are getting started don't know how to handle boards, right? They throw them around. I mean, these are expensive things, right?
Sure.
And not only is this one priced right? They got a good price structure on this thing, but, like, my wife, I have 4 boards, right? And everything from this all the way up to some Ronix stuff and, like, carbon, you know, stuff.
Sure.
They continuously go back to this board. My daughter and my wife, they go back to this board because it's so comfortable,
Yeah.
and it's so easy to ride, and it's easy to keep up with the boat. If you make a mistake, you're still there.
Yeah.
And they just love the shit out of this board, dude. It's like, as much as I try to get them to progress, you got to progress, you
Yeah.
got to progress. They say, no, I want to ride this one. They just love it. So if every time someone asks me, like, what should I get for my first board, I always recommend this one because it seems like everybody loves it.
Yeah, the big thing about this style of board, this construction, is it's not going to ride as high in the water. It creates more drag. And so that's stability and comfort for
Right.
somebody that doesn't want to be doing big bottom turns or big slashes or trying to air off the top of the wave. It's just a comfortable, smooth ride. And you know it's not going to take off from underneath you. As we get to higher end boards that are epoxy, you know, surf style of construction, those are designed to be fast and responsive.
Right.
One thing that I do like about the HYPERLITE line is they use this Durashell outer wrap to it, so it's not like your true epoxy style surfboard.
Right.
You know, these definitely have a little bit more durability than what we see in some of the other boards.
They are a little heavier. They tend to be a little heavier.
It's going to add a little bit of weight, and you know, one thing that a lot of people like these days is that natural surf style look.
Yeah.
And when you have that Durashell, it's more of a printed graphic type of material that goes around the outside. So it's kind of hard to do that natural look, but you know, it gives them the opportunity to do some really cool graphics.
Yeah, very cool.
And we've been talking about new stuff. New for HYPERLITE this year is they're getting into the foil scene with the Ute.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, so the Ute is designed to be kind of an all-purpose utility type of surfer. You can pull the foil off.
Have you ever rode one of these?
Have
you tried?
I haven't yet.
I said, what does it feel like? I mean, because it must feel like you're kind of floating around,
so
right?
when I had the opportunity, I was a little bit banged up and didn't get a turn, but they say it's like riding on 2 foot of powder. You know, just big and floaty and smooth.
Yeah.
The one thing that you do have to learn is how high you can get up out of the water without getting the foil out, because it is a long fall. You know, and when you fall, everybody says you kind of want to get away from the thing.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a lot of
might
it's a lot
chase
of
you down.
machinery here.
But yeah, this is designed so you could pull the straps in the foil off and ride it as a regular surfer.
Okay.
You can put straps on it and ride it in the wave, or you can put the foil on, pull these fins off, and get further back in the rollers.
Yeah, I've seen people doing some pretty crazy tricks on these too,
Yeah,
man.
you know what? Noah Flegel's killing it. He's doing some back roll kind of weird wakeboard stuff on a surfer.
Yeah, crazy.
On the foil surf, so.
Yeah. Let me talk. Can we go back to that bat tail? Can you show us that real quick? Because I actually rode this. My buddy has it. I think Johnny Bedingfield has it. And man, at first when I started riding it, I was like, man, I don't know if I like this thing. And the more I rode it, the more that I fell in love with it, dude, because it is so fast. I mean, the only bad part is you're going to be sore from hitting the brakes on the deal because when it comes down off the ramp, man, dude, is this a fun board, dude.
So this was one of the first boards that was really working well for the future of how Ronix is wanting to build these surfboards. And a big misconception from people is, you know, especially if they came from an older boat that they set up for surfing, your pocket is not right on the back of the swim step. And that's what everybody thinks. Oh, this is the pocket, this is a safe zone. Your pocket is back where that wave is breaking over and you have a ton of push and power in it. And so their idea is, let's get the surfers back. How far back can we get? You know, you got a new surf boat and your pocket's 15 feet back. Let's get them 15 feet back and surfing there.
Yeah, there's some kind of fun too with that, like getting back on that wave,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, you get way back deep into it and you can work your way up and big turns.
A lot of speed.
Up and big slashes on the top. And so yeah, just a really wide surface area.
Yeah.
You know, it offers a lot of buoyancy. It allows you to put a lot of weight on the board.
I mean, that tail, this has to be the widest tail out of all the wake surf boards I've seen. I mean,
pretty darn close. This one here is going to be pretty similar as far as tail width, and it's been in the line for a while, and I think maybe it's starting to get overlooked just a little bit.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, the power tail. So the power tail was originally designed for the people that maybe don't know how to pump as well.
Yeah.
You know, so they can get up on the wave and they can try and do an air out, or they can do their 360, but then they lose all their speed and drive and just kind of float back through the wave.
Right.
So that big wide tail plus the thickness of it, you can see how thick it gets, goes from thin in the tip to really thick in the tail, designed to have a lot of buoyancy back here so that you don't have to work quite as hard.
Yeah.
And when moving people back into that barrel, that pocket that's further back, the boards have to be able to just have a little bit of weight put on the front to create that speed. So we're seeing a lot of buoyancy in the back where, I mean, you could be riding the brakes the whole time in that pocket and you still have the push to keep you going. Where in the past, you get back there on your back foot and you're done and you're pumping hard to try and get back up into the waves.
You know, and plus one thing too, man, these boards are so light. I mean, they are super light. And I mean, that's good for people that want to kind of get some airs or try to do some stuff off the lips, you know? So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so this bat tail, they make in a few different sizes as well as in a ladies version. So ladies got kind of a cool. Let
me see the mat on this thing. Can I see it real quick? Okay, yeah, so it's got the...
This is wax mat.
Wax mat.
Mm-hmm. And
but the back part has got
has an EVA foam traction pad on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason they're doing that is to give you this little bit of stopper there so you don't slide off the end.
I dig the color, man. Like a subtle cyan on with that. It looks nice. It's clean, dude.
Yep, just a little bit of color here.
Yeah, this is probably definitely my next board may be something like this, man. I definitely have been eyeing this thing.
This is going to be pretty similar to that sprocket, I think is what you have.
Yeah, I have the sprocket. Yeah. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, the sprocket has some rails on the outside. I actually have a sprocket here.
Yeah, definitely my favorite board, the sprocket.
So this is carbon construction, which makes it a little more durable than this, also a little bit heavier, but carbon is very fast. You know, it's rigid on the water. It's not going to flex as much. And then just some big channeling through the back just to keep that speed driving forward.
Yeah, it's almost like a skim board, except it's got the channeling in it, right?
And if you look at, I mean, this one is obviously wider, but if you look at it, the overall shape, very similar, you know, pretty wide up in the front of the board. And the bat tail just continues it through the back where the sprocket tapers in a little bit.
Right, yeah. Definitely two killer boards to ride, man, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and they get better every year. You know, people, a lot of people ride the same board over and over and over, and that's fine, you know, but new stuff is always fun.
Yeah. So what would you, if you wanted to pick a board, let's just give your advice here. You're a new boater. I'm getting into this. This is probably the base question. Which board should I start with? Do you have one that you like?
Yeah, I actually have a couple. Obviously depends on the size of everybody that's going to be riding it, but really like the Marshmallow Thrashers from Ronix.
Okay.
This is built just like these boards, but it has a foam top to it.
Okay.
And also we talk again about durability and beginners and banging it in the boat. Well, a real thick durable board is great, but you bang that into the swim step, you may hurt the swim step. So this is kind of a nice feature, especially for beginners if they fall on the board.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to hurt quite as much.
There's nothing that will ruin a trip than bringing someone new on your boat that puts a nick out of your gel coat, your glitter if you have it, on the back, dude.
Yeah.
That will ruin your lake trip.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so what?
So I really like that one, and then also the HYPERLITE Automatic and the Shim series. HYPERLITE Shim series has been kind of a staple. That's these two here.
Yeah.
So very similar to what we've seen in this size and shape, but Durashell construction, so a little bit lighter, a little bit
harder
faster,
edge, right,
harder
than
edge.
this.
And the small one especially, you can really get that skim style.
Mm-hmm.
And if you notice, big flat surface area through the middle. You know, they don't have a ton of curve to them, just a little bit of kink on the nose.
Right.
So those are kind of staples for first timers. We do get a lot of first timers that say, hey, I want to skip that beginner board, I'll learn. And obviously there's a ton of options once you go that route.
Some people just want to cruise, right? I mean, like, so if you just want to cruise, these are good boards, right?
The long board's a lot of fun, actually. That board comes with a really big fin on it to make it very stable and comfortable for
Single
people.
fin?
Single fin.
Okay.
Yep. I personally like to pull that big fin off.
Really?
And run like a 3 or 3.5 inch fin.
Okay.
And this thing, it's just so floaty and fun. You can get way up on the nose or far back on the tail. With the smaller fin, it's very easy to spin the board. You know, so for people trying to learn 360s, this has been a pretty nice board.
Yeah.
So,
very cool.
it's got a cool look to it, kind of that bamboo.
Yeah, it's
pattern.
neat. Really neat looking board. I love it.
Yeah.
So now let's just get to the advanced. If you're an advanced rider, give me your advanced pick here. Like if someone comes up and say, hey man, what's new? What's fresh?
For advanced riders, honestly, I would say something like the HYPERLITE Action here.
More surf style though, right? I mean, people...
Yeah, definitely more surf style. Fast, hard charging, gives you the ability to get some airs off the top. And,
it does, okay.
You know, my dream with wake surfing is to see people being able to get enough speed in a board that they can do their bottom turn and cut back into the wave and then cut out of the wave. You know, like really open it up to be similar to ocean surfing. And it takes a really fast board to do that. And I don't think we're quite there yet, but with the waves getting bigger and bigger all the time, and the boards are always changing to that. You know, as the boats change, the construction of the boards change. We were at a dealer meeting and Noah Flegel was riding behind the new Paragon. And he said, with this new wave, my body position has changed, my foot position has changed, fin setup is different, and it really opened up a whole new perspective of what is possible behind a surf boat.
Right.
So, and if you've seen his latest videos, the guy, there's no stopping him.
Yeah,
Nobody will ever be as good as him behind a boat.
Yeah, that's cool. And the skim style, of course, you got skim up here. A lot of people do like the skim stuff. You have something really cool.
Yeah, these are kids boards here.
Okay.
These smaller ones. So HYPERLITE's got a good selection of kids boards. This is actually a shim, same as these two here.
Okay.
So real good quality board here. When my kids were smaller, I started them off on that one, and that's got a cool look to it. And then this one here, the Ronix skim board, this is pretty high end.
Dude, that looks nice, man.
I mean, that tiny little fin on the back, really thin profile, and a very sharp edge to it. So this is one, like if you're looking for a skim board and you know what you're doing, this is the board to ride.
Yeah.
Ronix has a surfer on their team, Bo Wildman, and that guy runs this thing no fin, and it's just annihilating the wave with it.
Yeah.
You know? So very similar to this, but maybe not quite as loose on the water. The carbon skimmer here. The carbon skimmer is a little bit thicker, a little bit heavier because it's carbon, and runs a little bit larger fin. So really two good boards in that high-end skim style.
Yeah, very cool, man. Well, always cool to come down here, and a lot of stuff. I always like seeing your new stuff you get, and you're always getting new stuff. So very cool, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for showing us that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to come in and check out some wakeboards soon.
I know, we're gonna do it, man. We'll do a let's do that, man. We'll do a wakeboard review next.
Okay.
All right, very cool. All right.
Thanks,
Billy. Steven at PTUF.
Laces, going places, seeing faces, doing things I never do at all. Till I do to break my fall.